With 2,339,233 registered voters across the state, today's election is not just about who wins Osun. It is also about the political alliances, endorsement and realignment that could shape the outcome.
Now, the APM candidate has endorsed Adeleke, which Abga has also backed the APC candidate Bola Oyebamiji. There have been also different competing alignments within the PDP, with factions backing different candidates across the state.
So help us make sense of the contest, the alliances, and what is at stake for Osun. We are joined by analysts for today, Chief Rotimi Johnson, Adeni Ojasope.
So, what will ultimately decide Osun incumbency party structure? Political alliances or the voters' verdict? That is our focus on the program today.
Exactly. Welcome on board, Chief Rotimi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so lovely to have people who are in the thick of things as to the elections. I love it when I speak to people who are of age because they've seen it all. Sometimes, you know, because of course you must have seen how it has panned out from the 1999 elections even to this very point. So you have what we call a bag of experience that you can, you know, throw away to anybody who is asking questions. So we are very glad to have you in the house today.
It's exactly my pleasure.
Exactly. All right, let's start this way. Chief, I don't know, I think yesterday one of my analysts on set, came out to say that, 30 CPs, 15,000 police officers, this might scare voters away. But then I would love us to take a look at the video and then look at what is going on in Osun State as we speak, because I want us to talk about it. And I know that in the last few hours, you've been able to, see certain things that is going on in the state, if people actually came out en masse to vote or not. Let's take a look at the video.
Oshogbo, where we are going to be asking street traders some questions.
All right, so my expectation is just like everyone else, that we should all come out, vote, and if we have the chance to stay after the election and see how it's going, we should all just troop out and vote for our preferred candidates, have a good, free, fair election, and we hope for the best for the state.
I believe the election will go as planned, and I also believe there won't be violence with the level of security around, and also the Inspector General of Police has assured the citizens of this state that there won't be a problem.
The expectation that our party will win, but the grace of God, anybody the God will give us, we will appreciate it. It is not playing anybody, it's PDP, Accord Party, or or Labour Party or APC, anyone the God is say will win, you will win.
Welcome back from that video. The governor voted, other persons were around to vote. So let me turn to you, Chief Rotimi. Should we expect high turnout, speaking about the voters, and then should we say bye-bye to violence because of the heavy security that was deployed to Osun State?
Well, we can't say bye-bye to violence. We are mortals. And the level of violence we have experienced in build-up to this election is too early to say bye-bye to violence. One thing I've seen from videos and other media materials online is that there was good turnout. Good turnout. It doesn't look like people were scared. I think people were really out with determination. One of the things I've seen in the past years in elections is that when people are hungry, they turn out for election. The level of apathy will be low when they are hungry because it's like a movement. Determination on both parts. So people are really determined that, look, we want to win this election. So the part that is more on the ground is the one that is going to win the election. The one that gets scared will lose out, even if you have more supporters. So today is a day to know who really owns Osun. So from the videos I've seen, although we can't use that of Ede to conclude because there is like an enclave of the Adelekes. So where the governor voted, because that was mammoth crowd of journalists and everybody, they hardly allow him to speak. The video I saw, I was not even hearing him. They were just pushing. So protocol broken. So, but we can't use that to determine what is happening.
Because it's just at the north, Ward 2, polling unit 9.
Yes, okay. Yes. So you can't use that to determine what is happening in Ife, in Oshogbo, in Iwo, in Ilesha. You understand? But I think fairly, the determination to come out and vote in this election is high. But in another one, we should be able to, have an idea of where it's going.
All right. So let me take it from you. I'll double down on the question she asked, and I'll give context to it because I think I love playing numbers. Well, some have said politics is a game of numbers, so we have to play it right. Just like we saw, there was a massive improvement just this year, according to the INEC release statement. They said that the number of registered voters in Osun rose from 1.954 million to about 2.3 million. So that's like a development. So we can start from the angle of saying that yes, there are pluses, if so to say, from this particular election. And maybe just to put that into perspective as well, they also noted that it's an increase of about 384,822 new registered voters, and that makes a lot of sense to say that yes, there's an improvement from voter apathy has been a thing even in Ekiti State. We are talking about how some persons were not able to come out to vote, and this time around it's like the narrative is changing. But just a context as well, the last election in 2022, Adeleke won with a margin of about 28,000. And now that we have seen an increase in the number of registered voters, and of course people are going to vote eventually, we have a chance to have more of the fraction. Whoever wins is going to probably get more, depending on how best the people are deciding this. So I want to get your view on this. Some have said, some like you mentioned, Eden North, maybe for the Aleli case. I'm seeing the state or the local government areas with the largest voter electorate ratio at its way. As it were, it's Oshogbo. I think I was trying to check, it's about 7.17% of the entire thing, and then followed by Ife East as well. That's about 128,515 voters are expected to cast their votes in those places. But Ede is not one of the largest. So does this mean there's no chance, or there's a slim chance for Adeleke in this election?
One thing you must understand is that the number of registered voters sometimes don't translate to the turnout.
Total votes.
In fact, in so many elitist areas, you have high number of registered voters, low turnout compared to the registration. So, Ede, for instance, there is this perception or this, how best can I describe it? Omowani kind of. So you almost have maybe like 90% of registered voters coming out there. Unlike Oshogbo. Oshogbo, we have more of non-indigenous you have more people that will show apathy towards the election.
But they have the numbers, I think.
Yes, of registration.
About 100,000 registered to the voters.
In Oshogbo.
Yes.
Compared to, for instance, I will give you an instance of your state now. In Ibadan, you have very large number of registration, but it is always low compared to those who actually come to cast their votes. So sometimes you have places like maybe Iseyi, their registration may not be up to even one local government in Ibadan. Yet the percentage turnout would be alarming because they are more communal, because it's not an urban area. So the turnout in Oshogbo might cause an upset. That's what I'm saying. Because the large turnout in Ede can cause an upset to pay for the deficit in other places. For instance, I think the APC governorship candidate is from I forgot.
Ire.
Is it Ikire or Ire?
Ire.
Ire. So Ire too is small, but Ire is close to Ilesha.
It's actually
Ikire.
Ikire, yeah.
Ikire. So Ikire now is also small. In fact, far smaller than Ede. But if there is any deficit from Ikire, the vote from Ede
Can cover up.
Where you need not to have deficits is in Oshogbo, Ilesha, and Ife. And if there's going to be deficits, it should not be large. So those are the areas where you have serious contention. You have serious contention in Ife. That's why some leaders of APC went to visit Omishore yesterday. You know, because they can't risk is not working for them. Which I think that's too late if he has made up his mind already. But where you have the real contention is Oshogbo, Ilesha, and Ife. The votes from those places, if Adeleke is going to have any deficit, it shouldn't be much. If he's not even outrightly winning it.
Because I think he won Oshogbo in 2022. And that was a huge factor because Oyetola lost in Oshogbo in 2022.
That's why I said the real battleground is Oshogbo, Ife, and Ilesha.
All right, Chief, let's talk about ballot papers now. I think a few days ago, the court ordered that SDP candidates should be included in the ballot. And because of that, INEC had to print millions of ballot papers again. Millions. So Nigerians are asking, what will happen to these ballot papers? Because something happened in Ejigbo today. The voters, the residents, they argue that they have to count, the officials must count the ballot papers before elections can start. So a lot of persons are saying, is it lack of trust or something? So what will happen to the millions of the ballot papers printed before the court order?
Well, those ones are wasted already. So they're going to throw them away, because all the agents of the parties will confirm the ballots before they start voting, that their logo, their party is on the ballot paper. So the ones printed before now, in fact, it will not be deployed for today. It will maybe be at the INEC headquarters or the state headquarters of INEC. But so, the issue of suspicion, in fact, on the day of election, suspicion is an asset. He is a virtue for any politician and party agents. On that day, you don't trust anyone. You don't trust. How can you trust INEC officials? You can't. So you must scrutinize every document.
We can't trust them. What are they doing? I mean, Nigerians cannot
They
trust them.
they are agents because you're representing your party and you are not supposed to trust anyone. You are not supposed. That's what will enhance your vigilance on that day. Assuming someone is trustworthy will make you be complacent or nonchalant. So you can't afford not to trust. You can't afford to trust anyone. So they will scrutinize everything. In fact, the best thing is to suspect everyone apart from yourself. So that anything, you quickly call the attention of your party leaders. So you have to look at the documents, you have to look at the forms, you look at the bivers, everything working. you don't assume that is a mistake. That's why people raise alarm and it's like, no. You have to raise alarm.
So Ejigbo people are right, for doing that.
Yes.
For insisting they should count.
That was the right thing to do. In fact, you have to count all the ballot papers to be sure, because they will stamp those ballot papers. You have to count all that it doesn't exceed the number of registered voters for that place. In fact, it's part of their responsibility to also ensure that after the vote has been cast, that the left over ballot papers, they confirm it, so that somebody else won't go and use it elsewhere.
I mean, that's something to consider. But let's switch over now. Let's advance this conversation a bit, and probably just speak with someone else who is joining us. Honorable Akande Opeyemi is the chairman of National Rescue Movement. Of course, your state is also the chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Council. He's joining us live on Zoom this morning. If we still have you there. All right, so let's just continue the conversation. So I wanted to also bring out something. The build-up to this election has been chaotic. We've seen death, we've seen people, we've seen allegations and counter-arguments about some party instigating violence, others trying to say we would reject this, we would come with this, like they say, aura for aura. And it's been a mess across some parts of the state. But let's look at this. The governor said something yesterday, that shortly after this election is going to go into full litigation and maybe a brief of investigation as well as to why the people that were killed, right? So we understand that usually after elections, when we have elections, there's going to be a post-election litigation issue. There's always that in the country. But this time around, it's taking a new turn. It's not just about whatever the votes is going to yield. It's also about the people that were killed. You've seen the whole security situation. I think the federal government and then the ministry formation, the security formation in the country have done a bit to install a lot of security in Osun State as we speak. But what do you make of the whole quagmire that happened just before now to the build-up of this election, and how can we forestall this for the forthcoming elections in the country?
Well, I think the beginning of the whole crisis is allegation of the CP, Osun, being complicit in the violence that erupted in the past few months, because the governor confronted him and alleged, even before the Inspector General of Police, that this CP has been seriously compromised, that is working for the APC. That was the allegation of the governor. And that is the reason why the case has degenerated that much. Because if the CP has been non-partisan, he will have been able to take so many decisive actions against the thugs, the hoodlums, and those who have potentials for violence. The security agents in every state, particularly as a build-up to the election, they know the flashpoints. They know where to concentrate. And they know even the major thugs in every area, even like in your state. The major political stakeholders, they know where those thugs are. The same thing with the security agents. In fact, it is the normal practice that it's either you arrest them before the election or you settle them. So if the CP really wanted to arrest the situation and curb the violence, he knows what to do. Right. So I think that's just the beginning of all the crisis. Exactly.
Sorry to quote you. I think we have somebody on Zoom, and I'll get back to you very shortly. We have Chief Ayo Afolabi from Modelmo, APC Steward. We have Honorable Akande Opeyemi, right, Chairman National Rescue Movement, your state, on Zoom right now. Hello and welcome, Chief.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great, great. All right, so Chief, I want you to give us your assessment of INEC's performance for this particular election. I know the election started around 8:30 or thereabout, but I'm sure that you've seen a lot. I mean, watched videos, the headlines. How would you assess the performance of INEC for this particular election?
Yeah, thank you very much. In fact, I give the INEC Osun State, if I have to mark them this morning, I will at least give them 80, 85 over 100, because so far so good. I've heard from like about 12 to 13 local governments in Osun State that the election started at the appropriate time. The election materials, the INEC officials were on ground. Even in some polling units that they were even on ground before the electors have been there. So far so good. I see the INEC have done well presently in Osun State. So which I will also want them to do more when the election is coming to an end, while we are in the time of getting the results. That they should translate the results into beavers on time as much as possible, so that we can have a good record that the Osun Decide has come as free and fair election.
All right, Honorable Wokoyemi, thank you for your insight this one. But let's advance it just a little bit. There's been conversations about security, about complicity, about compromise and all of that in that particular state. And everybody's talking about the fact that this is going to be a blueprint for the 2027 elections across the country. So whatever happens here and now is going to be a reflection of what we are to expect come 2027 election, especially the presidential election. It's going to be a big one. There's been a lot of chaotic moments in Osun, and we understand why that is. Because I'm asking this question because I know you are the chairman of Interparty Advisory Council, so you are in the thick of things as to how people should conduct themselves, and also parties as well, how the parties should conduct themselves before, during, and after elections, because that is necessary, because we want the lives of people not to be lost. So that's one thing. So I want you to speak to the people. What should be the things we should look out for come 2027 election? What are the things that the federal government, perhaps the security formations in the country, can do as well to ensure that there's peace, there's credible election, there's free and fair election across the country?
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to believe that, to my own perspective, we cannot judge whatsoever happened in terms of security in Osun Decide today to compare it with what may likely happen in the next general election. Because if you can understand vividly, you realize that it's not possible for us to have the turnout of the security personnel in Osun State presently in every state in the general election. This was happened just because this Osun State election is just only for Osun State election alone. Not even all the elections in Osun State, if you can look at it very well. The election is just mainly for the governorship election. There's no state assembly election there, while there is no any federal election over there. And you see in 2027 where we are expecting general election for president, though the presidential election too will come up in 2027, while federal election for federal rep and the Senate House will also come up, including the state assembly. But on the security aspect, I want to believe that the findings that even will occur before today in Osun State cannot occur in any general election, because the political parties in each and every state of the nation will be very, very busy. There will not be enough time for, there won't be room for only focusing on 2-3 political parties like is happening presently in Osun State right now. So all the 22 registered political parties we have will be on ground for their party activities up and down. So to me, I want to believe that the security aspect of general election, the atmosphere will be easier more than this, and at the same time, there will not be the security personnel on ground in each state like it's happened in Osun State presently. So I want to believe that by God's grace, we will have a free and fair election in a general election. And on the issue of free and fair election in Osun State today, if we have free and fair election in Osun State today, that will also determine the kind of election we have in Osun State in general election. Osun State on its own will definitely portray whatever will happen in general election by their decision they are making today. So I pray we have a free and fair election in the at the end of the day today. So once we have it there today, definitely for presidential, senate, federal rep, state assembly coming 2027 elections, I believe we definitely have it the way it's happened. But we should have it at the back of our mind that the issue of security, we cannot say the way we have police officers or military personnel in Osun State. Today, we can have it in many states like this in 2027.
Honorable, sorry, before I allow you go, I think you mentioned that the election has been free in Osun State, but something happened in Modakeke. Unfortunately, we cannot play that video because the residents use certain words that are not suitable for broadcasting, and then they allege that in Modakeke.
For today.
Yes, for today, and then the residents allege that the police officers fired tear gas, and then the electoral papers, were taken away. And that as a result of that, the residents are asking questions. There was no violence, so how come the police officers had to fire tear gas? How do we deal with issues like that? I don't know whether you've seen that video, but it happened in Modakeke. And I think even the governor spoke about it.
In fact, I have not even heard such. I can say that I can hear it for the first time from you right now. But know how a human being can work without the head being shaken. And I want to believe, even if we are to have any issue in the election, such an issue should not be caused by our security personnel, because they are being there, they are plotted there just for us to have a peaceful election. Not that they should be the one to create fears in the people of Osun State. So I don't know what may cause this, but at the same time, I ask all the senior officers over there to try to investigate that and make sure they maintain the peace in that town.
Thank you.
Honorable, we'll keep the tabs on and probably get you abreast as it breaks much further. But let me come back to you, Chief, this morning. One of the conversations that really caught my attention was this security issue. We're always going to talk about it now and even after now. But of essence now, my question straight to you is, from what you have seen, especially the deployment of police officers to Osun State in their numbers, I want to know if we have enough security provision for 2027 election, because we understand this is just a state. That's why we have that influx and that number of police officers, of CPs and all of that in one particular territory. We cannot have the same across the country. And we've been talking about state policing, and of course it won't come until after this election. So we understand these are the peculiar situations we are finding ourselves. But do you think we have a security provision for 2027 general elections?
Well, I think we have the security provision, but not special. Not special, because the security we have in your state, for instance, is not going to increase for the election. It's because Osun is an off-cycle election. That's why they can mobilize security agents from other parts of the country to go to Osun. For instance, over 30 CPs for today's election alone. So those 30 CPs have been moved from other states to just go to Osun. But for the general election, it's just be the normal security arrangement. If I thought they will have extra hands, there will be from Ekiti, Anambra, Osun, those states that are not having their own governorship election same time with us. Maybe they will be able to pull off some from there, but it can't be significant enough to say that there is improved security. The only thing that you have, which is usual, is restriction of movement between the voting hours, most especially between 8 and 2 p.m. Apart from that, I'm not really seeing any special security apart from what the INEC preparation have done. The best of the security arrangement is to make sure that the voters, the voting materials arrive at the polling units before the commencement of the voting. That's the best. Then after the vote has been cast, moving the materials from the polling units to the collation center at the ward, at the local government, then the state collation center. Those are the most important security arrangements. All other arrangements is from the party, and counter arrangement by the opposition party, because irrespective of this, the security architecture of the state, all political parties, they also factor security into their election management. We call it election management. Security is an important aspect, both financially, strategically. You have to. So in protecting your votes, you also have to factor your own security outside the normal state architecture. So that's why you will see a lot of people at the polling unit of Adeleke now. You will see a lot of guys that are not policemen, that are not bets. They are wearing jackets. They will protect Adeleke and also ensure that they protect the votes. And I've also seen a video a few moments before coming into the studio where some people arrested other citizens. They claim are APC guys buying votes and they see some money from them. Those are part of the security arrangements of Accord. But they can only do that successfully where they are in the majority. They can't do that in domains that you have APC, you know, in their numbers.
I think, Chief, we'll come back to that, but I think it's of essence. You mentioned vote buying, and I think it's something that we should really discuss. But of course, we'll take a listen to one of the happenings across Osun State in a particular ward 4, Unit 13, Ejigbo local government area. So we have a correspondent live for us from there. So let's have a feel of what's happening there.
APC wá wà lórí ẹ̀ ní APC tó bára ẹ̀ máa mọ̀ pé APC Yorùbá la ti wá. Ẹ máa bá a sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá. Ẹ máa ṣàlàyé nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀.
Owó yìí. Owó yìí.
Ẹni sùn.
Owó ìyá lọ gbà lọ́wọ́ àwọn APC ní wọ́n fọ́ yìí 7. Wọ́n kí wọ́n fáwọn èèyàn. Kíní tó bí fáwọn èèyàn lọ́wọ́ ni. So kíní káàdì wọn ni. APC yìí ni APC. Phone number wọn ni. Ó fọ́ sí wọn kọ́ ni. APC oníjàwá. APC kéde. APC number 7 agbàkan ní. Wọ́n fọ́ Unit 13 ní Unity gómìnà kankan. Àwọn APC lọ́wọ́ bẹ̀ wọ́n ń pínwó. So àwọn ọba wọn fọ́ wọn náà bá wọn jà wọ́n. Àkànlé wọn pọ̀ sí gbowó. Tó ẹgbẹ́ òfin tí wọ́n fún wa ni pé ká má pòwó fẹ́ nìkan. Pé ká lọ dìbò ẹgbẹ́ tí ẹ̀gbọ́n lọ. So ọlọ́run tó bàjẹ́. Àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ọ̀dọ̀ wọ́n sá lọ. Wọ́n ní bàbí kan ní wọ́n fi gbówó lọ. Àwọn ẹgbẹ́ alẹ́ múlá gbélé lọ́wọ́ wọn. Àwọn APC evidence wà lọ́wọ́.
Welcome back from that video. I think, Chief, I think I mentioned it, you know, some minutes back that this same Ejigbo, some resident insisted that the ballot paper should be counted before they can vote. Now, look at the number of, look at the cash that we are seeing in the video right now. So this is my question, because I've listened to analysts, you know, experts, and then majority believe that it is impossible to separate vote buying from electoral success. They believe that there's a symbiotic relationship between vote buying and electoral success, especially when majority of Nigerians are poor. They also believe that, you know, poverty has been weaponized in a way. So is it that there's no end to vote buying in this country? That for as long as we conduct elections in Nigeria, vote buying will happen?
Well, there can't be end. I don't see an end to vote buying in Nigeria. Huh? I wish there is, but there is none. And it is not new. It has been here with us for a long time. It's just that the price or the fee per vote is only increasing. You know, it used to be 200 naira, 100 naira. And those days, those people just think, we have stayed in the sun. Are you not going to give us drink or something? No, that's where it started from. Then we later discovered that as more as the amount of money is also going to sway where they are going to cast their votes.
But we've seen people who collected money from various political parties and ended up voting for the one that even paid them less amount.
It is a feasting day. Election day is a feasting day for some people. They will collect from as much as party as are willing to give. That's why you also see some video clips prior to this Osun election where some people were swearing that you vote for us, and that's why you also have some political party agents devising a way to confirm that you actually vote for them. That they want to see the picture of the print of your thumbprint on their party logo, and some also devise a way that, look, it is after you have cast the vote successfully for us that we're going to pay you,
which is wrong. According to the Electoral Act, nobody's supposed to see what vote you cast or what party you vote for.
Even buying vote itself is wrong.
And it's punishable under the law.
It's a business in Nigeria.
But I'm just saying that the reality on ground, like this particular case, I think this video we saw is Ejigbo.
Yes.
I just while we're off, I still saw a breaking news that a particular polling unit, the security agents, the policemen, the voters, they all ran away. So that happens when you know that this is the strong goal of a particular party, and all you can do is to make sure they don't even cast the vote at all. That's what they are doing. Like the video we saw also showed that APC is not popular there. That's why those guys can hijack the money from the APC guys and be displaying it like that. If it were equal, they have equal strength, because I suspect those are court guys that are arrested those APC guys and seize their money. But if it were equal, it would be serious violence. So you have violence where they are almost matching each other. But if one is predominantly more than the other, it's not likely going to lead to violence. You can't collect money from people like that unless you are more than them and you are stronger than them. So that's what is playing out. So they have already prepared. You can't rule out vote buying. You can't. And I said it a couple of days ago on another program that, look, vote buying has metamorphosed into different forms. People share ATM cards. They just give you the pin and the card, you go and withdraw it. People share recharge voucher for phone calls. It's part of vote buying. I've seen branded bread with party logos. It's part of vote buying. Even in 2023, that trader money that they were going about giving, it was part of vote buying.
Rice as well.
Rice, food items. So vote buying is not just cash. It's not just, and it's not new. Because even in the last election in the US, we saw what Elon Musk did. So many voters in the US received dollars in their mailbox. So vote buying keep evolving. It is wrong, don't get me wrong. In fact, it is the bane of our non-performing government in Nigeria. Because when they get there, they just want to amass enough wealth because they know that what will guarantee their re-election is money, irrespective of their performance. Once you have enough money to troll around, it's likely you will win. So that's the main problem we have. But so far, I don't see us overcoming that challenge yet.
Chief Rotimi, we'll get back to you on that. Briefly, let's also connect with Chike Ogbogu, who is live for us from Osun, straight from the city of Osun and of course the state of Osun, to bring us up to speed as to what's obtainable across Osun.
All right, I'm Udwa and it's good to join you in the studio this afternoon, live from Shogo. Yes, sir, it is Osun this heart. I hope you can get.
Yes, very well, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
All right, hi Zibadan. For us here in Osun, it's been election days. I hope Ibadan is fun.
Ibadan is enjoying everything you are bringing us. The updates you're giving us, we're enjoying every bit of it. So let's have more.
between Osun and Daybreak. And if that's what areas,
Hello, Chike. Sorry, we cannot hear you currently. Okay, maybe we'll have Chike come back.
We'll just get
know.
back. So
Let's
talk. I wanted to maybe double down on that same question that we've been asking you. And according to the INEC Electoral Act, I think Section 87 of subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022, it gives INEC the power to place limitations on the amount of money that can be spent by a political campaign for the different political offices in the country. And this seems like it's non-existent. There are many laws in the country. We don't have a problem of laws. We've said it again and again. We have a problem with sometimes implementation of these laws and policies in the country. There is a particular body in the INEC that sees to how much a political aspirant or candidate or even a party will spend for campaign and even for the rest of the election. But there seems to be bullion vans that are not known to these people. It seems like they only know just a few. They don't know about some bags and all of those ones that are still. So it seems there's no transparency, there's no accountability from the part of parties to say this is how much you want to spend for this election, because that will also mean they will be able to forestall the case of vote buying in some way, in some sort of way. So I'm saying, what is the issue and how can we move on from INEC not having total and absolute intel as to how much parties are having to campaign and maybe just to do for the election malpractices that they aim to do as well?
Well, INEC, that's the law, but like you said, the implementation has always been the bottleneck, because there's no how INEC can check or limit the spending. I mean, to implement the law. They can set the law, but how do you implement it? Because there are a lot of spending that are off the record. You know, not unlike the United States of America, there is even the limit to which an individual can donate towards the election. But in Nigeria, people go about with a lot of cash. You know, the movement of funds cannot be completely tracked in Nigeria. That's one. Then two, our election has been so monetized. Even the collection of funds, you discover that it's so high. The amount is so high. And recently, some states are even putting fees to permit to campaign as high as 200 million, 50 million for presidential candidates before you can even paste billboards or even posters in their states. So elections generally are very, very expensive. I don't know how on earth then the issue of vote buying, like I said, is not just about the cash. Because like in the last election, because I was also on the ballot the last election, I noticed, and that was just before this issue of cashless policy
yes,
and naira scarcity. A lot of people were even spending dollars.
Yeah, I saw dollars.
A lot of people were spending dollars. They were giving out items as much as generator a day before the election to even buy votes. So we don't have a system that is well coordinated. Our social security is not well synchronized to be able to monitor spending on election day. In fact, some have even gone as far, but during that last election, because of the scarcity of cash, they've even found, cement depots close to the polling units, so that they will now use the cash, collect it. They funded some POS centers to get cash to distribute. So this one that they are finding cash on this one person that we have seen in the video is even becoming like a stale approach to election buying. They've collected your OPay account and PAMPay, not the regular account number for the banks, so that they can quickly credit you, and they have decentralized those paying you.
So you don't get to know that this
so
is a person working for.
So you don't see one person going about with huge cash. Since the last election, because of the cash scarcity, so they have also innovated other methods of buying So you don't see one person going about with large sum of money on the election day. You know, that one is not common again. You know, you have credited a few people that will be paying, and they have collected even the account numbers of their prospective voters before that day. You just have to show them evidence that you have done what they wanted, and they will credit you. So I don't see how government can really track down this. And you must also bear in mind that the incumbent administration, they are always, I'm not talking about APC, in any state, they are always the greatest, you know,
power.
No, they are even more complicit in vote buying.
Because they have the resources.
Yes. So arresting vote buyers is like arresting the incumbent, and most of the time they are immune against the arrest. That's why I said the case of Ejigbo that we saw is most likely is the accord that is arresting,
because it's the incumbent administration.
It doesn't mean they are not buying votes.
But I want us to look at something, because I want to believe that, you know, a news was actually reported today. Daily Post reported this, and then they said that over 100 intending voters allegedly imported by an Accord party member ahead of the gubernatorial election in Osun State have been arrested. Unfortunately, we cannot play the video now. It says the voters carrying new PVCs were camped at the residence of one Honorable Abiola Ibrahim ahead of the election. Let me walk us through what happened actually. So Honorable Abiola Ibrahim is a member of the Accord party, and in that video the security operatives were asking him questions. What are these people doing in your house by this time? I think it was at night actually, but I can't tell you the exact time. And then he said they are here to vote. And so Nigerians are divided on that matter. What are they doing in your house? Some Nigerians are saying it's not a big deal if they are there. Maybe they are party members or something. So I brought in this question because, I mean, I think you said, you know, majority of those persons engaged in vote buying might be APC member. But this is Accord. Honorable Abiola, a member of the Accord party. What do you make of that?
No, don't get me wrong. I didn't say that majority are APC member. I'm saying that in that particular Ejigbo and that video we saw, Accord members were arresting APC members because they have the upper hand in that community, in that constituency. Then the particular case that you mentioned, it is not new that people will sleep overnight to come and vote for you, and it is not criminal. In fact, in so many places, they might even hold night vigil, emergency night vigil. You know, those who are living far away. For instance, if you register in Dubai and you are living at Ologun, because of restriction of movement, we can facilitate your coming overnight because you want to vote for me. There's nothing criminal in that. Okay, come to my church. We'll do praise service so that it won't be boring, and I will make provision for what to eat, because I will not want to miss your vote because of mobility. Dubai is Dubai, and the central business district is not really residential area. But traders and workers in that area, they might find it more convenient to register during the day because it's their workplace. But on the day of election, you have to facilitate their coming. I'm saying that may be what played out
for this particular Honorable
Abiola. And there's nothing criminal in it if that is what is actually playing out. And then there is no law.
Any other,
yes, there is no law that forbids the gathering of people on the election day, as long as they are not fomenting troubles. So, and if it is their voting constituency, you know, once you can't fault that they are supposed to be in Ede and they are now in Ilesha, if it is not that kind of case, if they are from that constituency, they have not done anything wrong. If all the voters' card you find on them are for those people in that gathering, then they have not done anything wrong.
Right.
Thank you for clarifying that. I want to believe that the security operatives are on top of the matter to do proper investigations.
Of course, let's now switch to Honorable Okpeyemi Akiade. Also, to maybe just, are you there? Let us know if you are still live with us. Honorable Okpeyemi.
Yeah, he's here.
Oh yes, very well. So I wanted to ask you, and I think it's very necessary that we probably just get your view. Prior to this, to the build-up of these elections, there was a claim, especially with some sector of people, particularly a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Fadamsi, made a particular statement that some considered inflammatory, some considered inciting, that it could incite violence across the state. And of course, some would also maybe make a case for him to say he's saying what he's saying because he feels so hurt because some of his people, according to the reports they said was going on across the country, were killed by the opposition, the incumbent administration, the people supporting the party, the Accord party. So this seems to be a thing. So for a senator to have made such statement, is there any provision for the law to take its full course on the 7th senator in the country? Because we understand what he said could have far-reaching implications to even in this election and maybe the elections to come. But what do you say to this, Honorable?
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to believe that there should be law. Should I say we should allow the law to take charge of this kind of when we're in this kind of situation, because you see the Senator Fadamsi that made the statement that you should still any other human being like him. We should understand that how desperate the APC in Osun are. That's how desperate they are. Then secondly, for a senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria to have uttered such a statement, to me, is very, very ridiculous. Not to him alone, to the entire nation. Because this person, whenever he's outside Nigeria, wherever he is representing our nation. So how could a strong one that happens to be a senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria make such a statement that, in fact, well, I want to say this. Let me just go straight to the point that, if possible, the law should put in charge of that, because for him to have uttered such a statement, I want to believe that we have something that he believes they want to. If they believe the election should be a free and fair, or if they believe at least they have the popularity in that state to win that election, I'm sure they should. Such a person like him shouldn't make such a statement. You understand? So to me, I think the police have called him and interrogated him. So I'm still waiting to see the outcome of the interrogation given by police to him. And they should make sure they allow the law to do the needful, because if he as a person can do this and still through, you should expect work more than this from every other members of AOPC, either senator, either federal, either state assembly, or even an ordinary member of the party. So they should make him a scapegoat for that statement. The statement is not good, even for our democracy. The statement is very, very worse to our democracy. So such a person like him should not be the kind of person that will jeopardize the effort of Nigerians to have a stable and solid democracy in our nations.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, Honorable, thank you so much. So I want you to walk us through how movement should be like on election day. And this is why I'm asking you to do that. Vanguard reported this morning that soldiers trying to prevent my entry into Osun, Davido alleges. And then I think what I read this morning says that the curfew started in Osun 12 a.m. yesterday, Friday, and then it will end 6 p.m. today. So I want you to clarify that, what should movement be like, on election day in any state?
Yes, in any state that we are having an election, there should be no movement up and down, except within that state. The reason why I say except within that state is there are some people that may have their card. Maybe the person is working in Osogbo and he has his card belongs to Ife, that he has to come and vote. I believe Governor Adeleke has made the provision for that, even if you're a civil servant, that you are working in Osogbo and your card belongs to Ife. I think yesterday, Friday, was an holiday, public holiday. So if really they want to do it, whoever that believe they have something better to do pertaining to the election in Osun State today, should have moved into the state earlier before 6 p.m. Before 12 p.m. that the coverage started. So, and you know our people, we do always stay with things with nonchalant attitude. That is why you can see people like Davido. I don't expect him to be moving into Osogbo by that time of the day. He should be in Osogbo if really he wants to support his brother earlier before the time is wanted to be. So, and you know, we do always believe sometimes our security personnel, masses always they should always be careful whenever dealing with military than dealing with police or MSCDC. So, and like the report I heard this morning, every corner that comes into Osun State are where the military are being mounted, so that there won't be anybody that wants to come since there is a curfew. So not that the soldiers are inside the towns or within the certain errands up and down. So if they didn't allow him to go into so in as much he did not go in there the appropriate time that is supposed to be there. To me, they are doing the right thing. Because I expected him to have been there earlier before the curfew time. So the movement in any state election should be earlier before the election will start. Because if they don't like that, there might be forces from neighboring states, especially the Osun state that are only having their governorship election alone. There may be forces, external forces from Ondo State or your state, and wherever state that they share borders with, that might affect either the incumbent government or political party. So, to me, making sure that there is a coverage from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. today, I think it's better for the election in Osun State today.
All right, thank you for clarifying that.
Many thanks, Honorable Akande Okoyomi, the Chairman National Rescue Movement, Oyo State, and Chairman Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAD, Oyo State. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, man.
Yes, I wanted to maybe come back to Davido. It's such an influence, isn't it? And so when the issue of the video came about, it was, of course, we know he's also a member of the family, and he's been all out for his people, speaking to the people to come out en masse to vote, and a lot of that. But there was also a particular situation where Davido wrote to Trump to come and intervene in the polity of the Osun State. And a lot of persons are questioning, oh, we've seen this before, because just recently, Atiku also called for the U.S. Government to intervene in some of these issues we are having in the country. So there seems to be a lot of persons saying, come on, especially the House of Assembly, or perhaps the Senate House, mentioned that internal affairs should be treated internally. Let's dry our dirty linen inside and not outside. We don't want to make a public mess of the country. We want to protect the image and the integrity of the country. And so there's been a lot of conversations as to people taking things that are supposed to be managed within the confines of our region to the other realms and to the other part of the country. And they seem to say that this is unacceptable for a country like us. We're a sovereign state, like people will say, we're a sovereign nation. We have everything if you have to do with maybe making laws or even investigating the issues. But there's been a lot of claims about the video calling Donald Trump to the polity in Osun State. So I want to know what you make of it, Chief Rotimi, this morning.
Well, I have no reservation whatsoever about his call, because the call was necessitated by the fact that the state security agencies have been alleged of complicity in what is happening. So it's a kind of loss of confidence in the presidency and in the protection of lives and properties in Osun State. So that's why he was calling. So that is not really out of place. If those who are saying that we should not wash our dirty linen outside, they are the ones that should have made sure that there is no cause for us to wash the dirty linen outside, or even to make the linen to be dirty at all, because we have to wash it somehow. And if we don't have guarantee that this linen, when we wash it, it can dry up in the building or in the house, we have to spread it outside now, Abby. So the exact thing that is happening is that Davido is ready to produce result, is ready to ensure free and fair election, and there is no limit to which you don't want to go when you are in such situation. So that's what is happening in Osun State.
Chief, let me get your opinion on that question that I asked, Honorable. Because Davido said that the police officers are trying to stop me from entering the state, this and that, and then I think I mentioned that there was a curfew in the state. Where do you stand in that argument?
I am persuaded that they will have eventually allowed him to enter, but stopping him is expected. They will first stop him, search him and his vehicle. Once they know that, because on personal recognition, they will know that he's a stakeholder in the election in Osun State and is coming in to come and cast his vote. So if they don't find weapons on him, if they don't find people they suspected to be coming to cause mayhem, because for every rule there is always an exception. He's a stakeholder in the Osun election and he wants to go and cast his vote. And I'm aware that he just flew into the country because a few hours ago he still performed in an event in the UK.
In London. Yeah.
So you understand. So it's understandable why he was away and he's just coming in to come and cast his vote. So he's a stakeholder in the election in Osun State. He wants to come and cast his vote. So they will first stop him to check. They will confirm his identity. They will confirm that it's not that he's importing hoodlums to come and cause mayhem. Once they are sure that he's not doing anything criminal, I think they will be able to waive the restriction and allow him to come in and come and cast his vote. I'm sure they will have allowed him.
All right. Thank you so much, Chief, for your opinion on that. I think we need to take a short break, and when we come back, we still have quite a number of things to talk about. Stick with us this afternoon. We'll be right back. Welcome back from that short break. We are expecting a call, but before that, let's continue the conversation with Chief Ojasope this afternoon. Chief, there are certain people who believe that Adeleke, is not fit, for this particular position. As a matter of fact, a lot of persons, cannot make sense of the fact that he's been ruling that state. And I'll give you an example. Showore was on national TV a few days ago, and he said this. I want to quote him in a verbatim. He said, "Ademola Adeleke has no brains. Has nothing upstairs. The state capital, Osogbo, looks like a war zone with no basic infrastructure." That was what he said. Sure. So I want to ask you now, do you agree with this? Because he led to a back and forth between Showore And Davido on Twitter yesterday, on X yesterday, that Davido went ahead and tweeted handwriting on that particular post, and then Sowore replied with the same handwriting. It was a lot to unpack yesterday. So where do you stand? I think he said it doesn't have anything upstairs. It has no brains and things like that.
Well, on this case, I like Sowore so much, but I differ with him on this. You don't say that Adeleke has no brain. You know, one thing I've noticed in this life is those who are playful, people tend to assume that they are not intelligent. They want you to look sober or melancholic just to show that you have brain, you are serious. The fact that he dances a lot doesn't mean he doesn't have brain. You know, somebody else, I think, was it not Edo State governor, that also accused him that he just dancing. That Wike is dancing in Abuja. There's virtually no event Wike holds, official event he holds in Abuja.
Which is banned.
He will dance
and sing.
He doesn't, I dance a lot too. He doesn't disturb or reduce your seriousness. He doesn't. You know, it is their temperament. Some people can dance, but they can't dance in public. While some people cannot even dance at all. Some cannot even move their body to the rhythm. But you must be able to differentiate, you know, their dance. I will even give you an example in the Bible. David was dancing. Did that disturb him from performing? No. We must be able to differentiate some of these things. That his dancing doesn't mean he's not intelligent at all. That he doesn't have PhD doesn't mean he's not intelligent. You have what you call native intelligence. Even in this same Oyo state, we've had Baba Adedibu. He might not have gone through any conventional school, but the kind of intelligence he was deploying towards political administration in Oyo State as a political leader, nobody has been able to match him till date. So I thought if there is a particular thing that Sowore wanted to point out, he should go straight to it, not that he doesn't have brain.
I think he mentioned Osogbo, that Osogbo is like a war zone.
When he came to Oyo State too, he said the same thing, that Oyo State, all the potholes, you know, you have to be more constructive in your criticism, you know, so that you don't attack person. He's a presidential candidate, for God's sake. You don't stop focusing on attacking person, you know. One thing, that's the bot in him. That's why I like him. That's the bot in him. The student unionism has not left him. He left the school, but the student unionism has not left. Stop attacking people. Treat the issue. You are now a statesman. Treat the issue. Oh, I expected Osogbo, the state capital, to be better than this. Blah, 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 blah. Not that the governor doesn't have brain. There is nothing. The governor might not prioritize it, but call his attention to it and address the issue. Stop attacking people. That's why I disagree with him.
All right.
I think Chief Afolabi is live for us, joining us from Odeomu this afternoon. Chief, are you there? If you can hear us, just speak.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Ah, well done. So,
good afternoon.
Oh, yes. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you.
All right. I was going to ask, how is Odeomu as we speak?
Well, as I'm speaking to you, Odeomu is quiet, it's peaceful. People are going about their electoral duties without rancor. People are just on the line, the queue. A lot of people have voted. I have voted myself. I performed my civic duty of casting my vote for my candidate.
All right. So I wanted to also know, we've always seen across the country, whenever there's an election, there are a group of people, well, the youth actually, I don't want to mention, but permit me to mention, that would not vote for during elections. They prefer to play football by the roadside. They prefer to gather together. I think we lost Chief right there. But let me turn the question over to you. We've seen a lot of, and we say it's all about voter apathy. But if you have to look at the current figures in the country, about 70% of the entire population of this Nigerian country, of Nigeria as it were, is made up of youth. So the youth is, even if it's not 70%, even if it's 60%, it's still the bulk of the conversation. So the bulk of the population of this country are youth. And it seems like many youth will prefer to be on their phones, on Twitter, than to come and vote with their fingers. They prefer to use the fingers on the screens of their phones than to. But I want you to speak to a lot of youth, or some youth that are listening and watching us this afternoon, to say, because they have to also be involved in this. Some would say, politics is not my thing. I don't care. I don't care who sucks God.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Welcome back, sir. So I was asking as to, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
All right, very well. So the question now is, you said you voted, and that's quite commendable. That's quite commendable. You said you voted, but we want to know, what is your environment like? Do we still have youth who are playing football instead of going to the polling stations? Do we still have people who don't care about this election across the region where you voted?
Well, with what I have seen today, with what I have seen and not doing today, I came across about 4 or 5 polling units where people are on queue trying to cast their votes. And what I've seen is quite impressive. People queued quietly, peacefully, without rancor. And people are just going about their civic duties normally. There has not been any untoward incidents in the places I passed. And when I got to my polling booth, it was the same. I had to go through the process of submitting my card to be able to pick my name on the register, on the voters register, and then went through the beaver thing, and everything went well. And then I was given my ballot paper, which I went and printed and dropped it in the ballot box, and that was it. That's what is required of me. We're supposed to be able to go back later this afternoon to begin the next process of closing the voting process, after which I think the counting will be done, and then it will be taken to the different collation centers.
Chief, that's a detailed walkthrough that you've given us. We appreciate that. But let me also maybe ask what much further, that, what's the INEC performance, if you are to rate the INEC currently, especially with these elections, the places you've seen?
Honestly, they perform excellently well so far in the places I have been to. They did a good job. And the security agencies were superlative. They were good. They were cautious. Even on the road, going through the road to be able to get to my polling booth, I came across soldiers, I came across policemen. They accorded me the due respect. All I needed to do in one place was to explain why I had to be on the road, and I explained, and I brought out my voter's card, and with that they allowed me without a second thought.
All right, Chief Afolabi, thank you so much for joining us. Still talking about INEC, we got a report that the beavers do not work in certain areas. And I'm saying this...
I wouldn't know whether it works in certain area or not. I know that where I voted, it worked. I wouldn't comment on where I don't know.
All right, Chief Afolabi, I still have one more question for you. In your assessment, what role do you think religion will play in this election? I want you to answer this question in respect to the major candidate. What role do you think it will play?
Religion. I've never seen religion as being a major issue in Osun politics. Yes, people ascribe religion as being very important, but it has nothing to do with it. In Yoruba land generally, there is hardly no house you don't have people of mixed religions within any outbreak Yoruba family. Your first cousin will be a Muslim, the next one to that will be a Christian, another one will be what you can even regard as a non-believer, an atheist, and nobody cares. So religion to me has no consideration. It has to do with, what do I expect from this? How do I expect people to behave? And that is being the Omaluabi, that is what is important. So religion has no consideration in the Yoruba balance.
Okay, Chief, but it was a problem at the national level. And then I've seen some conversations where some persons were saying, oh, Ademola Adeleke Do, I think he answers Nuruddin as well, but they said he's not a practicing Muslim. And then others were able to, mention the candidate of APC, that is Amo, and we also have the candidate of the ADs in Najim Salam. And then so people are discussing it. There was even a time that some women, I think they're from Oshobo, I really cannot remember now, they wore hijab and then they were on the streets, campaigning for a particular candidate. How would you assess that situation?
Religion to me is a personal thing. If you decide to wear your whatever uniform that depicts your religious belief, it's your headache. I don't think about it, and I don't see it as being important. Yes, some people will attach more importance to it, maybe to be able to overwhelm the other party, but that's a personal thing, and it does not in any way. And in any case, like I just told you, in Yoruba land, you say Adeleke is Nuruddin. Adeleke is also what's this other Christian something they are calling
Jackson.
I don't see where Jackson is even in the Bible anyway, for me to take it as a serious thing. There's nowhere in the Bible where I ever came across the name Jackson. Jackson is probably an English name. When you look at it, so it's a misnomer to start thinking of religion.
Thank you so much for your response, Chief.
Chief, let me back on you to drink from your well of experience briefly.
Thank you very much.
We've seen the case of vote buying. There was a particular reported case in Ward 4 in Unit 13 Ejigbo local government area, but I know that's not your. That's not your PPA, if I may use that word. But again, I want to ask you, let's do a bit of solutions journalism. What can Nigeria do to get us to a point where vote buying will become a thing of the past?
Vote buying, you cannot legislate against it. That's the reality. You know why?
Why is that?
The reason is, a lot of people have in the past falling on the idea that they believe promises by different political camps. Over the years, those beliefs, those commitments have been fallen on, not fulfilled. Okay? So, and apart from that, you have a situation where poverty will make some people fall for peanuts to be able to vote. Somebody who hasn't eaten for 2 days suddenly is provided some meal ticket for the next 3-4 days. He will jump at it, but it depends on your level. So poverty is an aid to it. One thing we should do is plead for leaders who will handle government in a way that our people will become prosperous, that our people will produce people who will be able in future to make life more abundant, as propounded by the AG of those days. Okay? Freedom for all, life more abundant. Those are the things that will legislate against vote by. But if you don't have a situation where there is a prevalence of poverty as we have today, hey, you will continue having votes by. Because the person who is going to collect the money from vote by will not come and announce to the security agencies that, oh, I want to collect money.
Yeah.
You see, that's the problem. And that's why it's difficult to legislate against. But you see, as much as possible, so far, with what I saw today, it's been a lot better, but it could be improved upon.
Chief, one more side swipe before I let you go from my end. There's been cases, especially about this administration, the federal administration of the APC now, about one-party state. So I want to get your overview on that. What do you make of one-party state, and is it possible?
I don't think. Hello,
Chief. Oh, okay. So the question is, there's been allegations. There's been allegations across the country, especially about the APC party, to say some are saying they are trying to do what we call one-party state. So, from your experience, we want to know if one, if that is possible, and two, what implication would that have on the Nigerian state?
You see, there is nothing like a one-party state in Nigeria. If you are talking of one-party state, about 14 governorship candidates are contesting under different platforms today for the governorship of Osun State. The platforms are for different political parties. Okay? And because as individuals, we all have our differences in terms of our choices. And that's why it will be difficult for you. Take that apart. Within each geopolitical zone in Nigeria, what we demand that differs from each geopolitical zone. Not even just geopolitical zone, even within Yoruba land, what Ibadan will demand will be different from what Oyo wants, will be different from what Ogbomoso will want, will be different from what Osogbo will want. They shall have their own focus elsewhere, and that is it. And that's why you cannot seriously have a situation of one-party state. No, it will not work. One-party state can't stand here. No. With the kind of plurality that we find ourselves, one-party state will not work. It's only people are scared. They are scared. Why did it become one-party state anyway? And you have a situation a few months ago when some people even joined the APC and go and find out they are back in another party or they are back in the party where they jumped to APC. We even have it presently in Osun State. We have some one or two senators who are with APC, who came into APC, who left PDP to join APC, and then they've returned even to their vomit. So you can't have a one-party state because we are not thinking the same way. We are not desired. What we desire is different, and the people we represent have a bearing on what we desire.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Final question to you, Chief Ayo Afolabi. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said something. He said, use Osun to show how prepared you are for 2027. Did you hear me?
Again?
I said, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said something. He said, use Osun to show how prepared you are for the 2027 election.
Yes.
Yes. So now this is my question to you. Can we use this Osun State election as a standard for 2027 election in terms of how INEC has performed, the security operatives?
Honestly, until the results are out, I won't pitch my camp to say you use it as the standard. Okay? because there is still a lot of information that is out there in the field that I don't have, that you don't have, that we don't know until the close of ballots. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Response.
Nice talking to you.
Same here.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Bye. All right, let me turn to you, Chief Rotimi Ojasope. You know, I think I asked him a question around religion, and then Karma said something. He said religion is the opium of the masses. It can intoxicate people. And I think over time in this country, people always talk about religion. I remember during the last election when we had a Muslim ticket, some persons came out to say, no, we are not going to accept that. Even for this Osun State election, a lot of persons are still talking about religion. So do you think religion will play any role at all in this election?
Osun State election, I don't see religion playing any role. In fact, there is confusion about Adeleke Nuruddin Jackson. You know, when he goes to the mosque, he performs so well. When he goes to the church, he dances and even take the mic and become choir master. And the truth is the elites that try to play the religious cards to favor us during election. The masses, they don't really care who the religion of the performing governor. If you are performing, people don't really care about the religion. They just want better life. They want good governance, egalitarian society. Once you are able to measure up with those ones, the average man on the street don't care about your religion. It's the elites that want you to belong to their church denomination, so that the pastor can boast that the governor is a member of my church or is one of my spiritual sons, or the imam that wants you to be coming for Jumat in their mosque. Those are the ones that play the religious card.
What about religious leaders who give prophecy about election? I don't know if you've seen the comment from Prime Minister Ayodele.
I follow Prime Minister Ayodele not because I believe in his prophecy, but he amuses me that he's a politician. Most of his comments, I don't see them as prophecy. They are just political calculation, just like you and I are just analyzing. You know, we analyze and say, this person have to be careful. But we all know these things now, that these are obvious to everybody, at least to political analysts. So I follow him. You know, there is a place of prophecy, but his own, I don't really see them as prophecy. I think that they are just political analysis, because the things that he claims, like President Tinubu, there is hardship. There is hardship. Do you have to be a prophet to tell us that there is hardship in the land? So a lot of things that he said, I see him just like a political analyst, so to say. He has vested interest in politics and he talks from his own perspective. I don't really see him as giving words from God. So that one aside, but generally religion, where I think religion should play a role is ensuring that people come out to vote. Our religious leaders are not doing enough in that area. If you are a religious leader, you have a lot of followership, let them know you have registered. And on the day of election, take picture and post it online that you are now at your polling unit to vote.
So it can encourage them as well.
But you hardly see that.
I think so many persons.
Have you seen the video of as much as Bishop Oyedepo make comments and encourage people to go and vote? Have you seen their video at the polling unit? Have you seen of Baba Adeboye at polling unit?
I think he said he doesn't want to meddle. That's why.
No, you don't have to be a politician to vote. There is no better way. Even Jesus said, "Follow me." You understand? You have to. If you have to follow you show the example. You lead by the example. You can imagine if a Baba Adeboye cast his vote. You don't have to tell us who you voted for.
You know, I think I have some questions about that, but very quickly, let's just take a listen to the incumbent governor as of today, Ademola Adeleke, very briefly.
Civic duty are voted, and as of now, things are going on smoothly. I hope it stays that way. but I have it on authority information that there is one police officer that they brought to come and do an archer job, the APC Osun, from Port Harcourt. They call his nickname London. He's here in Ede hiding. His own job is to come and destroy Ede and then avoid so that he can scare people, shooting, so that they will not vote. So I'm calling the Inspector General of Police to take note. I'm calling all the security agencies to take note. They should redeploy him. We don't want him in Osun. We don't want violence in Osun. All we want is free and fair election so that people can perform their civic duty. That's one. And two, the pattern of voting should be from unit to ward and to local government. Not that they will take local government connection straight to state capital. That is not acceptable. That's a form of rigging. And I heard it on the authority that the APC have, trying to rig, have some fake ballot papers. I want Osun people to watch out, to watch out for that too. And then we don't accept. Well, we will not accept that in Osun. Right now, as I'm voting right now, I just received a call in Modakeke and Obagun that police is aiding them to tear gas them so that people can run away. And people are resolute. They just want to perform their civic duty. Let the security agency please be neutral and watch it.
But and people are not worrying each other. So we did everything. Accordingly. So there is no wahala, no problem. And I believe that this is, if it's going like this, it will end well. Because we don't have some people who are hungry or something like that. People are just going peacefully, they are casting their vote, and when you cast your vote, they leave, and some who doesn't leave, they entertain with each other. So I believe that by the grace of God, everything will end well.
Well, what I think is the Beavers is operating with network. Sometimes network might seems to be more technically for giving challenges technically. I think it's just a temporary issue.
The Beavers machine captured my face, seamlessly without any issue. Though there were some that took some time, we don't know why, but after those ones were resolved, only one person that I know that his face couldn't be captured, fingerprint couldn't be captured. So.
Welcome back from that video. I think we saw the candidate of a court party, Adema Adeleke. He said a lot, and of course the last video that we watched showed us the candidates of ABC, that's Ebamiji and his wife. But I would love Chief Rotimi Ujasakwe to speak to some of the things that Adeleke mentioned. Though we've discussed some in the course of this conversation, but he said some persons from other states, known face, came to his state, and then it was the security to undo that. And I remember that even David Williams, I don't know why I keep bringing it, because he's very active in this conversation, this election. He also mentioned that Ebonyi is also in Osun State, and then the security operators should look into that as well. That what is this person, a missus actually, what is he doing in Osun State for this election? No. So what's your assessment? What do you think?
Well, from the comments of the voters, I think so far so good. The election is proceeding better than we anticipated. There has not been any serious case of violence, except for where he claimed that they fired tear gas. But he also said that the people are resolute. So the fear gas did not scare them away. They still stayed. So it's far better. So far, so good, I emphasize. It's far better than we anticipated. And that is good. If it continues like that, then it is a good thing. So we also look at post-election. We also look at the post-polling unit activities, the movement of the materials from the polling units to the various collation centers. So if those ones two are seamless, then we can be sure that we have had free and fair election. Then what the governor said about the CP, the police officer posted to Osun State. Well, he said the person is in hiding, and there is nothing he can do from hiding because for whatever reason, he has been posted as a police officer and he must have seen signal that his life is at stake. That's why he's in hiding. So that means he has not been able to perform his enterprise. If, according to the governor, he came to, to cause mayhem, that means he has not been able to perform his enterprise. So I think things are still going on fine. So far, so good. Because election, you have pre-election crisis, you have during election crisis, then post the polling units, particularly the movement of
election materials
to collation center. So what we have seen now is that pre-election, that is before it started the casting the votes, it has been okay because not much alarm has been raised so far. Then you have the real exercise. Also so far, not much alarm has been raised. But the cocoa the real one so that the casted votes will not get missing in transit and snakes will not hit some ballot papers.
Or swallow them.
There's some ballot papers that were not accredited will not end up. Then you not have figures being manipulated more than the registered, and accredited votes. Those ones too are important. But for now, we can't determine that until much, much later in the day or in the late hours. But so far, so good. Everything appears far better than we actually anticipated because of the tension. Because when I even heard that Ishike is in Oshogbo, I said the Lord is his shepherd.
Is there with others? I think you have a solid team over there.
I wanted to also maybe a crop of humor, from what the governor Ademole Adeleke was saying, especially as to London. He called the name of that police officer guy. He said, what's London doing in hiding? Why is London? London is known to everybody. Why is he hiding? But that's just by the way. But I wanted to ask again. I think there's something that is always coming again and again in the polity of the Nigerian state. And I think we've mentioned it, but maybe not just put the title to it. And it's what I call the politics of tribalism. I know this is a deep matter, and we're talking about Iwo, we're talking about Ede, we're talking about some places that... Okay, so I think Chike is live for us in Osun, so we'll just get back to this conversation after now. Chike, how is it going there?
Well, so far so good, Anu, and it's good to be back again. So far so good. It's been going on smoothly. However, we've been getting first-hand reports of pockets of violence around Ejigbo. Ejigbo is becoming a red spot at the moment, and then also some places around Modakeke area in Ife. We've also been able to move around. But within the Oshogbo township, within Oshogbo and Ede, it's been peaceful. It's been so peaceful so far. However, we've been getting violent reports from Ejigbo where some miscreants have been cutting away with ballot boxes as being captured as of now. And security agents have swung into action as we speak. Modakeke too is a bit volatile, but the security agents too are there making sure that peace is restored around that area.
All right, thank you, Chike. In that same Ejigbo, what about the voters' turnout? Did people come out en masse to actually vote, regardless, the violence going on in that area?
Okay, struggling a bit hearing you hear me.
Okay.
But if you can repeat what you just said
Thank you. Let me take the question again. So I said, in that same Ejigbo, did people actually come out to vote, irrespective of the violence going on in that state, in that area?
Okay. When we moved around Ejigbo earlier in the morning, there was heavy presence of individuals who came out to cast their vote. Yes, the people came out, the turnout was high, but when violence erupted, you see many people running away to see how they can duck somewhere for their safety. However, the turnout was high at Ejigbo, but immediately the violence erupted. We have many of them trying to run for their lives and see how they can run to safety at Ejigbo. But generally, the voter turnout is very, 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 very impressive.
All right, thank you.
Chike, I wanted to know also, speaking of pocket of violence in Ejigbo, and I think Modakeke, like you have reported, are there casualties? Is there something we can know, maybe a brief detail into that?
If I can get you well, you're talking about cash inducements, right?
No, I'm talking about casualty now, in the places where you've reported violence, the pockets of violence in those places. Are there casualty? Is it big? And we're trying to know the intensity of that violence, as it were.
Well, struggling to hear you, but I think I can get what you're saying. Some people have been arrested so far. Some people have been arrested, as it were, and we're trying to ascertain, get some of them. We're heading towards the police headquarters to see those that have been apprehended and brought to the station, to the police headquarters for questioning, as it were. Well, some of them really have been arrested.
Chike, any leads on vote buying at all?
None that we captured on our own end. However, we saw some people moving around wearing the ESPC jackets, making sure that there are no issues of vote buying. However, with the ones we've moved around so far, over about 76 polling units we've gone to so far, we've not recorded any issue of vote buying, as it were. But we've gotten reports that some people have been inducing voters with as much as 50,000, which we cannot even confirm now. But we're hearing from people around that, yes, some of them collected some funds, but they voted for who they wanted to vote for. But cash inducements, we didn't capture, but we've heard stories of that.
All right, thank you, Chike. My final question, let's talk about the beavers now. Even though some persons, we've watched videos, spoken to some persons, and they said the beavers is working perfectly, but in some areas, some persons are complaining. Can you give us an assessment of how the beavers, is working as we speak?
Yes, there's no perfect system, and there's nothing that is perfect. However, the beavers has relatively been functional. But in places like Ijesha, places like Ilesha too, we've had the beavers failing, and especially in Ife, where you had elderly people who were finding it very difficult for the beavers to capture them. But an alternative was sought for them to do their registration. But beavers, which is not perfect, as I said, but relatively, it's been moving smoothly. It's been functioning well in most of the polling units we've been to.
All right, thank you. Can you ascertain whether the candidate of ADC has voted in his local government? Because I think his ward is maybe around Ejigbo or something. Can you ascertain that? Is it possible?
Okay, if I can ascertain if the ADC, that's the African Democratic Congress candidate,
yes.
Right?
Yes, if he has voted.
Yes, Salam, the former speaker of the Osun State House of Assembly, who is the candidate of the ADC, cast his vote earlier this morning, and his polling unit, it was very peaceful. The same with the polling unit of the governor at Ede, Sagba, Arulogun area, that Ward 2, polling unit 9. It was peaceful. He came out to vote, and then the crowd was also massive there. Impressive turnout for them. Ikero,
the candidate of the APC, the All Progressives Congress, the person in the person of Muniruddin Bamiji, also cast his vote earlier this morning with a peaceful exercise at his polling unit, and the turnout too was impressive at Ikirun. Yes, it was peaceful there this morning.
Thank you so much, Chike, and well done.
Many thanks, Chike. Please be safe.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
Yes, I wanted to get back to you just briefly. I was talking about the politics of tribalism. We've talked about how that if you come from a particular place, you're expected to have more votes in those regions. And I think, for one, it shouldn't be a thing of you are my person, I'm your person, our local. It should be a thing of competence. It should be a thing of putting the scorecard on the table. What can you do? What do you intend to offer us? How can we judge your competence and your credibility? Not because you come from my mother.
Well, we can't, there's nothing we can do about that. You know, charity, they say, begins at home. Begins at home. So there is absolutely nothing. And I don't think there's anything wrong in it. If you are my sibling, I will expect you to.
What if I don't do well? And because that's the reason.
Now, I can't force you. I can't force you. But I will expect your disposition towards my candidature should be an attestation of your belief in me, because we are talking about human relations, we are talking about people now. So if your people, and that's why it's like a plus. But normally, if an opponent come to defeat you at your polling unit, they are indirectly saying that even in his own community they don't love him. They love us more than him, even in his own polling units. You know, that's why they always display it. In a few hours' time, when they are starting to display results on the social media, you'll be hearing that even in Aregbe's last polling unit, he's also person that won in Ambos. You understand? So, the way we are in Africa, we are communal people. And if you're saying you want to be a public leader, they will expect you to show example from your own immediate constituency, from your immediate, family. So we can't fault that. These are people who we are. We are communal people. Unlike in the US, where you may not even interact with your neighbor at all. So such things will not count there in the UK. But here, when you wake up, you probably even greet your next door neighbor, next building neighbor. How are you? So you are expected to have interacted well in your community, that if they hear that you are contesting and you're going to be on ballot,
they should pull their weight behind you.
Their weight behind you.
So I just want to, I've been thinking about the future of politics in Nigeria. But let's talk about the future of electioneering process, or electioneering as it were, in the country Nigeria. We have moved from where we were to where we are now. Before now, if you had voted before, maybe 1999, for example, you probably would not be privy to the use of BVAS, IREV, and some of those technological applications that we are now using. And it seems like the world is moving so fast. There are countries of the world now who vote electronically. And that was even a conversation at the table of the House and the Senate House in Abuja, as well as the House of Representatives as well. So there's been that conversation of when are we going to move forward from maybe some of this failing system, because we understand BVAS is using the internet in certain areas. The internet provision is not as strong as you should expect it. So, but a lot of persons are saying, when do we want to move from electronic voting? When do we want to move from diaspora voting? Because all of these things are still on the table of discourse across the country. So I'm looking at asking you now, what do you see in the future of electioneering in the country Nigeria?
Well, we were thinking that we will have a giant leap from what we had in 2023, that in terms of electronic voting, we will have had improvement. But as it is, there is no improvement. But we have a bright future ahead of us.
How do we judge that, Chief?
If you look at it critically, what we had in 2023 is still what we are going to use in 2027. In fact, there is a particular clause in the Electoral Act that is not even going to, that would be like backward, because the kind of scrutiny and the kind of, there is a form that you're supposed to fill in case you want to vote where there is no beavers. But they have reduced the kind of protocol or scrutiny that I have to go through to that. But the bottom line is, essentially, is what we practiced in 2023 that we're still going to repeat in 2027. So there's no improvement between 2023 and 2027. But in terms of, for the election, no, not the whole process of this 2027 election. So there's no serious improvement from 2027, but there is hope, because this is a partial electronic voting that we are having. The issue of the beavers, the National Assembly was only using excuses and, you know, semantics. The
I think they mentioned, sorry to cut you, they mentioned the use of, network, and that was the defense of some senators.
That's what I'm saying, that the way the beavers works, it's just like when you send message on your WhatsApp. The message will go, but it may not deliver if there's no network. You understand? But as soon as network comes on, it will deliver, and it will show the time it was sent, and also show the time it was delivered. So that's the same way the beavers work. Once you post it and there's no network, it will go, but it will wait for when you get to where there is network, then it will show you the signal that it has gone. Then they too will receive it. Exactly. If I send you a message now and my internet is not on my phone, the WhatsApp will show that the message has gone, but it will not show you that it has delivered until there is network. Then you first give me the first mark that it has gone successfully. Then it will give the second mark that it has delivered. So that's the same way the beavers works. It will still send the message, as in the result you are uploading. It will still upload it, but until you get to where there is network, and it's not what you have sent is not reversible. So when you get to where there is network, it will complete the delivery. So that's why, you know, saying that because of network is only being clever by half. They didn't want it. Because when we have fully electronic voting, the more you cut out human interference with our election, the better the election. Sincerely. As somebody that has been on ballot before and have been participating actively on election day since 1999, I know that the more people you have interference, the more crooked the election becomes. Once you reduce human interference, the election will be better. And that is why these beavers thing and high rate, they are superb. If we can deploy it fully, not that there will be skirmishes or itches in the middle of the night. If we can deploy them fully, we'll have a free and fair election, because the elections are being uploaded directly from the polling units.
They transmitted directly from that point.
Straight. And all other people can see the outcome.
Yeah, Chief, thank you so much for your clarity on that one, because it was a huge topic back then, I think a few months back. But there's something I wanted to react to. We got a report, there's a video that I would love us to watch, where Senator Fadden said, the same man who made that statement and said, any accord member that you see, kill them. And then he was heard and seen instructing all Progressive Congress supporters at his polling unit 1 NUD Primary School Collation Center in Ilase, Ijesa, to monitor the choices made by voters during the ongoing governorship election. Let's watch the video. Welcome back from that video. Chief Rotimi Ojasokwe, I would love you to react to that. I think he said, what would you mean? How would you interpret that statement? Especially with someone like him, I think Amnesty International has said they will get to the bottom of this matter and make an example of him. But then he's still doing certain things like this.
Well, Senator Francis Fadahunsi is very desperate. And of course, from that few seconds, maybe about 10 seconds video, look at the expression on his face. He's very worried. He's very worried. You can see that his people are not even hailing him. So he is fighting to dominate that particular unit by all means. They are not hailing him. Look at those guys there. They are frowning. You know, they are really up against him. And that utterance was just to, he was not instructing. He was saying it so that those ones will hear.
Especially if they want to do something different from what he wants,
He
right?
will instructed. Okay. So he will have, you know, sent guys to pay those who are going to vote. So it's like, don't collect my money and now still not. That's why he's saying that because they have been told where to. And if you look at him, he was dressed not in native, not ceremonially,
not senatorially.
So he's dressing is serious.
Yes, he's there for war. He's there to fight, to win, to deliver that, maybe that particular unit or that the whole local government, but he's there for work. Unlike Adeleke that you saw, he just, you know, ceremonially came to cast his votes. He will probably go back to his own situation room where they will be giving him report from different centers. But this one is going about other polling units. Because when you see a senator on election day in jeans, t-shirt and face cap, he's on war. So, but it doesn't look like those ones will be deterred in that place. Because there was a guy in brown kaftan, this guy in brown kaftan, he's not even looking at his side. It's like, I don't send him, kind of. And others, unlike Adeleke, everybody was around him, but these ones, they are just looking at him. They are not coming close to him. So he's definitely, from experience, when a serving senator walks like this, close to a polling unit, is because he's already very unpopular. It might be because of his performance or because of the utterance he made.
That he made.
So this one is not a good outing for him.
Okay, sorry, before I allow you to speak, that same utterance, some Nigerians believe that for somebody who said that, he should not be allowed to move freely.
I believe very strongly that I believe so too, because if that utterance makes him a national security threat. Because anything that is going to affect an election could be treated as a national security threat. His freedom is a threat to the successful election. He's supposed to be incarcerated at least for this period of this election. You can hear what he said again. He will have over zealous followers that can start violence once they start counting the results. Look at this guy. They don't send him. A lot of guys are there. They are not even looking at his side. A serving senator is behind you and you are not even turning to. A lot of guys are not coming close to him. And that's why he was making that subtle threat. Because he is already unpopular where he is.
But Chief, what if those people that you think are not listening have done what they should do? What if they were part of the whole setup?
They don't send him.
Chief, it can be funny because when it's election, someone can get something and Chenumuru like as if
that's what I'm saying, that they probably even have collected whatever he has brought and they are not voting for him. And he is not talking as somebody that is excited or expectant of victory at that particular unit. On the day of election, if you are popular at your polling unit, there is how they will hail you. So you are Adeleke. He could hardly give them enough space for they could hardly give him enough space for the interview. It was like they were going to mob him up, hailing him and everything. But this situation is different. They were like nonchalant at what he was saying, or what his presence there didn't really catch their attention whatsoever. I can tell you from experience that he is very unpopular at that particular unit.
Right.
I don't know other places. If that's his own polling unit, it's most likely he will lose at that polling unit.
There you have it. Said by Chief Rotimi
Because looking at their faces, sorry to quote you, I think a lot of persons will want to wait behind after elections to count their vote.
If you look at it critically, if the election has started, because sometimes you see them scattered like this, if they have not started, casting their votes. But if they have cast their vote, they are waiting to defend the votes. And they, let me say in a local slang here, they don't send him at all. They don't send him. A lot of guys there don't send him. They are, the status of a serving senator at a polling unit should command and compel people to come near if you are talking. But a lot of people, even women, they are just, look at those young guys. Look at the way they are looking at him. That what's he saying? Kind of, so they are not coming. Because normally, what brings people around a serving senator on the day of election is not just your status. They will be expecting that maybe something will drop. Then the eye service and everything. But this particular clip, they no send him.
All right, Chief, before we go, can you speak to the voters now? Because I want you to speak to them as an elderly person. You have the experience, especially the ones that wait by hand to count the vote before they leave.
Well, the only word of encouragement I will give them is that they should stay to defend their votes. Make sure the completion, because to cast your vote is not as important also to make sure that the vote counts. And the way you make the vote count is to stay behind until they are counted and the process of uploading the results to the IREV is completed, because they will announce the result at each polling unit. Make sure the votes announced at your polling unit correspond to what the political agents agreed to, that is the result. Once you do that, I will congratulate the people of Osun that the popular candidate has eventually emerged as the winner.
Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful conversation with you, Chief Rotimi Johnson Adeniyi Ojasope. Thank you for coming here.
It's
today.
my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we need to go this afternoon. Our analysis about Osun State, we've talked about quite a number of things today, and then just like I said, there's still much to talk about, especially after we announce the result. But then ultimately, I think we've seen progress in terms of, INEC, their performance, the beavers, the security operatives, and we can only remain optimistic about this election. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to also join us on Monday, because we are going to analyze properly about the announcement, the election result as well, and tell you the things that you did not even see by the time you're going through the announcement, maybe today or tomorrow. My name is Oluwayemi Adelak. I want to appreciate you one more time for sticking around with us today. I'll see you on Monday.
And I'll say many thanks to everyone who has been a part of this, the production crew, our crew also live with us and for us in Osun State. Thank you very much for staying with us. We'll keep the fingers crossed. Of course, we keep tabs on every of the developments, even on our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You'll find us there. We have the updates of this election as it breaks much further from our end. My name is Anuluwa Boyd. We'll say bye for now.